Hello and welcome to Seagulls Social, episode 51. I am your host Maz,
51.
and I'm joined by the boys Ryan and Benjamin. How are we, boys? We all good?
Yes, very good.
Frustrated, like the majority of the Brighton Hove Albion fan base at the moment. I think a lot of tears, a lot of tears. Although, I don't know.
I mean,
It's just been a bit disappointing.
I know we're going to get into it like a lot later towards it because we'll do like a whole transfer segment later on. But just quickly, we might as well just talk about it because obviously it's the most sort of relevant thing. But I don't think it is as like, don't get me wrong, a striker was key. That was the big sort of problem area, and we all frustrated in that sense. But if you actually look at the transfer window as a whole, I think it's been pretty good. Like on average, in terms of the people we've let go, some of the people we brought in. I genuinely don't think this is as bad as a lot of people are sort of making out. I've seen some really reactionary mental stuff online, like how it's like the worst transfer window ever. And it's like, well, is it? I don't think it's the worst transfer window ever. It's like, I don't think it's that bad. But yeah, what do you reckon, Ryan? Do you agree with that?
I mean, I think that it's disappointing, yes. When you look overall who he did bring in, Sima's a very good player. I can't argue with that. We've got Sima tied down potentially on a new contract, and obviously keeping him a very big bit of business in itself. And obviously bringing in Cucurella was vital. I think we were lacking a left wing back, so bringing in Cucurella is not a bad decision at all. So yeah, I think overall it's not too bad when you look at it like that. I think in an attacking sense, I do wonder a lot, but at the end of the day, they're going to know more than I do, so I'm not going to go and attack because obviously I did go a bit ham yesterday on Twitter, and I got dragged into it a little bit too much. So maybe it's just a case of
it's true. It's hard not to get sucked into the negativity when you're reading loads of people getting annoyed online, but it make it seem a lot worse. But I guess the more frustrating thing was the whole. The past few seasons, it's been like, we need a striker. And now we're going into the season with less strikers and only three. And some people are saying, and I kind of agree, only one reliable striker. Because, hopefully done it well, but doesn't get injured. And hopefully Connolly sorts out his attitude potentially. And then he is a really good option potentially. But that's yet to be improved. And the past season has kind of shown that maybe that's not going to happen. But, we can be hopeful.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, look, we'll get into it a bit more later on. Obviously, we're going to do like a full sort of breakdown of the transfer window for us. But just before we do that, let's talk about the Everton game because disappointing one. Yeah, because we have to. Yeah, we're
let's not talk
on this podcast.
too much about Everton if we can.
Oh yeah, this is going to be a really really fun podcast. By the way, it's going to be
the shortest Everton game review you've ever heard in your life. Because the last thing I want to do is relive this again. To be honest with you,
literally, and also as well, Joe Gilmore, if you're watching or listening. F you and everyone hates.
We always seem to struggle against Everton, don't we? I mean, normally I think at home it's their first time they've beaten us, but away we always seem to get battered by them. So yeah,
they are a good team. I think we I probably underestimated them, and I was probably on the back of two decent performances or two good results. I'm thinking we could beat anyone, and then in come Everton. You think they've lost Carlo. Hats off to Rafa.
Rafa's kind of a good manager, isn't he?
Changed a few players and bringing in Damari Gray looked class. Under Townsend on a free. I still think he's a good player and he showed it. So I think I definitely underestimated them. And we spoke about the midfield battle, and they definitely dominated us.
They won that,
100%. But this is the thing, though. That was going to be my main point. It's like, I think people forget that Everton are a very good side, and they've spent heavily in the last 2-3 seasons. They spent a lot of money. People don't realise that. Like Richarlison, Decore, Allen, James Rodriguez. I know obviously it was a loan move, but still, like the wages they probably spent on him were a madness. Like they spent a lot and they brought in such quality that people forget that they are a very good team. And Ryan, as you mentioned, Rafa Benitez, he is one of the best managers in the league. So I don't think it's as bad as he's not maybe so good anymore, but he's definitely like still got the caliber. He's like a David Moyes, isn't he? He's still got it a little bit, but
I don't know if you agree, but like I don't know. I think their 2-0 result flattered them. I reckon maybe a 1-0 Everton could have been a bit more fairer.
You think? Honestly, I was there.
I thought we were poor.
I think we could have got beaten by quite a few. I've got to be honest.
Really?
Oh yeah,
no,
Ben,
I don't
I
know.
met you there,
I think it was tighter.
I bet you there.
The fact we're debating whether it should have been 2 or 3-0 is quite poor, isn't it? Really, but
I didn't. I thought it was a lot tighter. I did think it was a lot tighter.
Maybe I'm just looking through a negative view because of everything that's happened recently. But I don't know. It was frustrating because I think yes, Everton are a good side. I think that defensively they're not so good. So I'd have liked to see us go for them a bit because I think that they look very well drilled in that game in particular, but we've seen them before. They're very, very weak. They're very slow on the turn. They can get done very quickly. So I was thinking if there's one time that, we need our dominance to count, it's probably against Everton. But as you say, their midfield was dominant and Demarai Gray caused so many problems. His pace, having Gross right back was, he had him on toast.
He looked like a £70 million player. I'm not taking this. He looked unbelievable. He was that goal that he scored. He literally glided through the pitch.
It
was good. Skinned Webster.
He did. Webster got absolutely sat down. It was reminiscent of like the Ben White versus Rashford. 2.0. But no,
the frustrating thing was all round it was just poor. I think that really, apart from Bissouma, everyone had an off day. We're talking about Webster getting skinned. Dunk gave the ball away so many times.
You could argue Sanchez should have saved the Demarai Gray shot. I think it was quite close to him.
I haven't watched it back.
He admitted it. He admitted it in the interview, didn't he? He said he should, and also in the second goal, he said that he felt like he should have saved the penalty.
That was a harsh penalty, one on himself. That's
a harsh one on himself. But I agree with the first one. I feel like
I feel like the first one he could have done a little bit better. But again, we're just being very sort of pedantic there. I think
that's very critical.
It's a great goal. Definitely. It was a great goal, and he's done really well there. And let's talk about the half-time decision to bring off McAllister as well. Let's start with you, Ryan. What were your thoughts on McAllister coming off? Do you think it was? Was it a tactical thing? Was it injury?
I found that weird because I was sitting next to people I was sitting next to. My dad was like, "Oh yeah, I think it's probably right to bring him off," and I just thought, really, I don't know. I didn't agree at the time. I thought but I thought then again. Potter does have these master strokes, and I wasn't going to doubt it. But then obviously it didn't really work out, and Veltman came on and actually had a bit of a stinker, to be honest. So it just seemed like one of those days where everything went wrong. Yeah, he did give away a penalty and gave the ball away a few times. But it just felt like one of those days. Everything was going wrong. Like nothing was going right. Even in the game, the whole atmosphere of it just didn't feel right. Everything felt a bit down. I don't know. It was just, for me, it just felt like it was set up for an Everton win. And I think at the end of the day, the best team won. I think, we can't take anything away from them. They outclassed us on the day. And I think it was a bit of a humbler. And in a way, it's probably good that we had that humbler because, we were getting quite ahead of ourselves, weren't we? We had that win against Watford and a win against Burnley, and we're thinking, oh god, we're going to go on the European tour again, and then you come up against Everton and get absolutely smacked.
Apart from Cardiff away, that Cardiff away counts. As
Cardiff, yeah. No, you know what I mean.
Yeah, we're already on the European tour.
We've done it in the Championship plenty of times.
Yeah. But yeah, you know what I mean. It was just one of them days, I think, when just everything was going wrong. It was just outclassed on the day, and Everton won rightfully so, in my opinion.
No, definitely. And also as well, with regards to the Veltman, so we'll go on to Veltman now. So the penalty itself, I think, I think it was clear to see for everyone. It was just, he got caught on the wrong side, just very poor, very clumsy.
By Seamus Coleman of all people.
And then Seamus Coleman went down. And it was a clear penalty, you can't argue with that. But really, really well dispatched from, and also as well, that was funny, wasn't it, when it was
what an idiot.
What an
idiot. He's such an idiot.
Just having it out.
Richarlison.
And then you see as well,
he was arguing with everyone the whole game.
Yeah. And then when he scored, he barely celebrated. Richarlison barely celebrated when he scored.
I know. The guy's an idiot. He's an absolute idiot.
That's just all it's going to do is make your teammates just going to feel even more pressure. Maybe Dominic's a true enough professional not to let that distract him, but for any other person, that would literally play in your mind thinking, shit, I better score this, otherwise people might question whether I should take penalties. And what an idiot. What an idiot.
He is an idiot. I mean, I can't even believe, if I was an Everton fan, I'd be fed up with him. I mean, if I had to watch that every single week, literally the whole game, he was arguing with someone. He was arguing with Seamus Coleman at one point. I'm pretty sure Coleman was pushing him around, telling him to shut up. And he's just, there's being like a wind-up merchant, like a Jamie Vardy or a Mopé, which is great. Yeah. But then there's just being a complete idiot where you're even upsetting your own teammates, like a Leon Best or a Richarlison. Just get a grip of yourself, mate.
Do you know what it is? Because he got linked with PSG, didn't he? So he probably thinks he's big time. He's like, PSG want me.
He's a proper PSG player acting like that.
That's true.
That's probably right. But
true.
just quickly as well on I can't remember who was one of you said it. But with regards to like being outplayed and humbler, I think that's basically for me that was like the positive out of it. It's like, okay, look, we played Burnley and Watford, who really we should be beating on paper, and then we come up against a good Everton side, and a lot of us were like, I saw a few people saying, we should have won, should beat Everton. I was like, what? Really? Everton are a much bigger side than us, and of course we went into it full of confidence, top form, etc. But really, again, I'd like to sort of just go back on my point earlier. It's like, Everton are a good side. I don't see why it's such a sort of.
I think we have it in us to beat them, though. I think that it's not an unrealistic opinion to think, we can beat Everton. And I think on another day we would have done. It was just one of those days where everything went wrong. To a degree, maybe a bit of a Rafa masterclass too, where he sort of just eliminated us completely. But at the same time, we didn't do anything, at all, really.
The only thing I would say, when we had our chances though, Ryan, especially Trossard had a few decent shots and the gross free kick, Pickford parried it away and fumbled it a good 3 times. So if we had more of those chances, Neil nearly got on the end of that free kick, but Toure got there just ahead of him.
Yeah.
I think Trossard had a couple decent shots where he's parried it away, and maybe Neil could have gone to it potentially in another day. But we did, Though there were chances there that we could beat them, maybe if we played them again next week or the week after.
That's what I mean.
Got mistakes in them.
Yeah, so their defence wasn't looking great. Pickford was looking really dodgy, and I just thought, on another day we beat them with ease. It was just one of those days where everything just seemed to go wrong. But I think we've definitely got it in, especially with Cucurella coming in. Because I think that bit of pace on the left side could be really important. I think we definitely lack that. On that day we were really poor on fullbacks. I thought that's where we were getting beaten every single time. To be fair, I'm not going to blame Gross, and I'm not going to blame. Veltman was playing left back in second half, but I'm not going to blame our fullbacks because they weren't in their natural positions. But with Lamptey coming back, Veltman now back, and Cucurella coming in, you'd think, there's enough quality there now to make that game a completely different one. Bit more pace, bit more quality, and players actually playing in their right positions.
When I remember before the match, suddenly you get, he's not in the squad. I was like, shit.
Don't worry.
I was like, this is
it was a recurrence of the hamstring injury, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure.
Oh, was it? I just assumed it'd be COVID or something, but I don't know.
No, I'm pretty sure. I read. Yeah, well, again, I'm speculating, but I'm pretty sure I saw something regarding his hamstring, or he had some kind of injury going into the game. That's why he was out. But that brings us really nicely, actually, Ryan. What going on to the next game then? So obviously, again, we'll do a preview to Brentford. But who would you start in that game? Now that obviously we've got players coming back, we've got Veltman coming back, we've got Welbeck now. He played a couple of minutes the other day. I think he played 20 minutes, half hour. All these players are now starting to slowly come back. What would your starting lineup be for Brentford?
You asking me?
Yeah, go on. You kick us off.
Okay, I would say obviously Sanchez in goal. Then I'd still play our back five. It'd probably be Veltman right back, I'd say, and then Webster on the right, and then Duff in the middle and Dunk on the left with Cucurella left wing back. I don't know whether he'll be fit enough to go straight in, but if he is, I wouldn't see any reason why not. He's got enough quality to start a game straight away.
If we don't have Solly. We need someone with pace to get some
exactly.
That kind of lot.
I think if Solly's out, it's probably got to be him. I think if not, I'd probably start Solly March because he's used to our system and it's harsh to bring in Cucurella in his first game. Say, look, you're going to go against the newly promoted Brentford side away. You drop right in it. It's not great. But and then midfield sort of makes itself up. I'd have Bissouma and Alexis McAllister with Lallana, and then probably up front you're going to have Trossard, Mopé. I don't know, actually, maybe Welbeck, possibly. Would you throw
Welbeck in
last year?
Would you throw Welbeck in?
I think if he's fit, that front three, genuinely, remember against Newcastle, actually worked really, really well when we went for those inverted forward sort of thing if you're on Football Manager. So that actually worked quite well if we did do that. But I would quite like to see that, to be fair. Why not? We can go for them. They're a newly promoted side, but then that also brings the pressure because, they're going to be celebrating every single game like it's their last in the Premier League, so they'll be enjoying it, especially in away from home. So I don't think it's going to be an easy game at all, especially Brentford. They always give us a test anyway.
And Will,
so yeah, I think
how many times has Graham faced that Frankie guy? I think that's his name, the manager. How many times has he faced him maybe in the Championship?
Thomas
Frank. Yeah. Frankie. When he was in the Championship, I don't know. I'm not sure how he got on there when he was a Swansea manager, but be interesting to see because might be a new manager for Potter in the Premier League. See how he does against him. And we saw how Potter outclassed that Muniz guy, the Watford manager. Obviously, that was his second game in charge for Watford in the Premier League. Hopefully Potter can get the better of Thomas Frank.
And Ben, would you make any changes to Ryan's lineup? Because I'll be honest, I'm with Ryan on his lineup. That's pretty much spot on for me.
It's quite an attacking side, to be fair.
It's a good attacking side, and also I like the security of having Veltman at right wing back, just because last season he's done a good job there. So I quite like that.
Shaky on the left.
On the left, of course. And I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of Gross at right wing back. What is going on?
I forgot about Gross. Did I?
Yeah.
Did I say Gross? I did. I left Gross out.
Because you put Veltman in.
Yeah. You put Gross instead of so you had McAllister, Basuma, and
change Welbeck for Gross then. Change Welbeck for Gross, and then do that, and then probably have
Mopay.
Yeah, I'd probably do that because Gross can sort of float around everywhere anyway. He goes on the right, left, centre. I think if he's playing forward, I'd fancy Gross over anyone else just because he can create the chances, So, I'd keep Gross on the side definitely.
I think starting Cucurella, it depends if he's fit, because if March is still out, then that'll be a big problem because we saw the effect that had against Everton. I think if we can start Cucurella against a potentially weaker side out of the rest of the Premier League teams, give him a bit of confidence if he has a good performance, especially with the Brighton away boys, they'll be loving it when he comes on or if he starts. It'll be a good opportunity for him to play. I think.
Do you know what we need to do? Anyone who's going as an away fan, unfortunately I can't get tickets, but if I could I would. We should all get Cucurella wigs, like big sort of wigs. Turn up to it. That'd be class.
The family stand will be having them soon, won't they?
That'd be class. Big old wigs, curly wigs. That'd be brilliant. So if anyone's listening,
I might have to get one.
Mate, do it. If anyone's listening, going to the away
I'm not going to
it.
Brentford. I'm so gutted. I forgot to get tickets. I was so frustrated because I was like, I'm going to get them. I went onto the website, completely forgot, and I was like, oh God, they're going to be sold out. And then they were. I was like, brilliant.
Well, Ben,
that's what I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, go on, Ben.
So my friends are fuming. I managed to get a ticket with my friend Harry and his mates. But
lucky.
There was that whole issue of so his mate has the total loyalty points or whatever to be able to buy himself a ticket, I think. And then he's put 9 other tickets in his basket without fan numbers, I think, potentially. And somehow managed to get all those tickets. And then, shortly afterwards, at about 11 a.m., they kind of refunded loads of people. Yeah, they refunded loads of people. I said, if you've got tickets with the wrong amount of loyalty points, then you get refunded. But he still got the 9 tickets, so I don't really know what happened. And a lot of my friends didn't get tickets.
Purchased 10 tickets? That's mad.
I think a lot of people did. And I saw like Brett Mendoza, but maybe he'd probably done it properly because he's a proper fan. But he had 10 tickets he's ordered as well. I don't know what's happened there, but a lot of my friends are gutted that they can't go because we were really.
My website fully didn't work when I was trying to get on it, so then I just completely forgot about it, and then it was all sold out. There was only 1,600 allocated as well, so getting on was quite.
Yeah, that was annoying. That was annoying. I really hope they add extra, but I doubt they probably can if they've got.
Yeah, if they do, then I'll go for it. But it's probably not going to happen. But I'll be going Palace anyway. I managed to get them this morning. That was quite good.
Oh, sick!
So that'd be good fun.
Sort me out, Ryan.
I need to try that. I need to try and Friday it
out. I need to get down to a game ASAP Rocky. Brentford was my biggest chance, but it's my birthday weekend, so absolutely.
The big 21.
Big 21, yeah. Add +9, 21 +9.
Is there anything else we want to talk about for Brentford preview as we're doing it right now? Players that will be.
Let's do our threats.
I think Mbuemo looked decent when I saw him against Arsenal.
He scored his first goal.
Tony scored his first goal against Villa. So he's off the mark now. They do look like it's a decent result away from home. I think 1-1 against Villa. It's not bad.
I think with Brentford, what I've noticed is they've held on to all their key players. So the Mbuemos, the Tonys. Who's that midfielder as well? They had the Norwegian guy. The one is it the one he's at the Euros? Was that him?
Yeah, I know who you're on about. I can't remember his name.
Not Damsgaard. Not Damsgaard.
Oh no,
Damsgaard? No.
Anyway, not Damsgaard.
Anyway,
one of the
you know the one I'm talking about. Anyway, so basically they've held on to some key players and they've done some shrewd signings as well. I think they signed Aya from Celtic centre half. And then they've added some additional players, which I think
all the
is quite
Celtic
key,
fans said that Ayer's so bad, and they couldn't believe that he's going to the Premier League. So that'll be interesting. But then again, they did say that Duffy was really bad. But exactly. I suppose we'll see, won't we? But
no, exactly.
Yeah, it'll be a good game.
They've kept the core. They've kept the core of the squad, haven't they? I think that's key.
Yeah.
Any promoting tie, like the unity they must have, should be pretty good. And they're unbeaten so far in the Premier League, so it's clearly doing something for them.
They remind me a lot of us, just like a newly promoted small club coming up to the Premier League. It's like it reminds me so much of us in our first year, didn't we? Yeah, they're not going to be easy to beat. Remember us in our first year. We weren't easy customers. Going to Brighton away was never an easy task in our first season. So, I have a fear that they're going to be quite dangerous. Because what it's like when you're first promoted. The fans are celebrating everything. Everything's the best thing ever. Yeah. So that's what it's going to be like. So we're going to come up against it, and I think we will. It'll be tougher than I think playing. Say like a big team at home, like a Leicester even, because I think playing a Leicester, they sort of know what to expect. We know what to expect, but coming up against Brentford, it's completely new. It's
the unknown, isn't it?
Unknown,
it's the unknown.
Yeah, so
and I might be shooting in the dark here. It's obviously after an international break. They've had maybe 2 weeks from the last game until when September 11th. They might have had a long break where maybe the party atmosphere might have dwindled a bit in the Brentford camp. I'm just shooting.
Hopefully, I don't know if it will.
Maybe, I don't know. Unless they'll still be all up for it 2 weeks later after their last match. But it'll be a bit of a fresh start for most teams after the international break, as it always is.
So, boys, let's get into the transfer window. So, if you didn't see it on Instagram yesterday, we did do a transfer deadline day live on Instagram. So, go check that out if you want to see
Shout
that.
out King Bobby that came on. What hero?
Yeah, King Bobby.
Then Matt tried it on with his mum afterwards as well.
Why would you?
And we had Ollie. Yeah, we had Ollie on. I think was it Fernville? I might be absolutely butchering that, Ollie. Sorry, mate. But you were quality as well. And then we also had Bob. No, we said Bobby. We had Bobby, Ollie, and Brett. Am I missing someone?
Oh, no, I think I was it.
Bob, Ollie, and Brett, yeah.
Everyone else had internet issues. But anyway, so we'll do another transfer window recap now. So we'll start with the ins. So just to quickly recap, we had a bit of an issue with Enoch Mwepu just before we actually discussed it. Transfer market, according to them, the fee was 20.7 million. However, Ryan, we reliably informed it was about, was it 12 to 13 million, roughly?
Yeah, 12 to 13, I believe. I could be wrong. But that's what I believe.
So we'll go with that because I think it was widely reported. I don't know, there's some conflicting reports, but
we'll just stick with that. And then what a load of rubbish!
It makes us look better as well.
Who knows? And then Mark Cucurella from Getafe for 16 million, Abdullah Sima from Slavia Prague for 7.2, Kjell Sherpen from Ajax for 4.5, and Karuo Mitoma from Kawasaki Frontale for 2.7 million. So apparently, according to the transfer market, the total expenditure was around 51 million. So let's kick us off, Ben. What do you think in general for the ins? What was your thoughts on the incomings at Brighton?
I think Cucurella was a very, very key signing that we really, really needed. 100% needed. And that's also a great player that we bought there. The Spanish people really, really think he's a top young talent and has a lot of potential. He's a decent age. I think he's like 23, maybe 24.
Yeah, he's 23.
I believe it's a good age. He's got a lot of room to improve as well. Great age. Bit old for me. No, I'm joking. Great signing there. Mwepu looks promising, but with so much depth in midfield. But obviously, Caicedo's gone out on loan, so maybe he can fill in there. I don't know where he is in the pecking order for Potter. Sherpen needed him, I suppose. Good competition. But I don't know. Again, obviously, the main thing will be saying that we really need a striker, and we did not do that. But we signed promising players. We've got that Sima looks promising. Mitoma looks promising. So it's all promising, but we needed promising stuff now, not next season. Yeah,
and Ryan, anything to add or to sort of go against that?
I'll tell you what, to put a positive spin on it, I am really looking forward to seeing Abdallah Sima. I've seen such good things. That goal he scored against Leicester as well in the Europa League. There's so much of it that I'm so looking forward to. I do understand the club's point of sending him on loan. I heard Dan Ashworth say that he's only had 1 year of professional football, so in a way it does make sense to loan him out to a club in England to give him the chance. I do get that. So at first I was a bit like, really? But I didn't realise he had only had 1 year, literally, of professional football. So, coming from Slavia Prague, it's not like he's played at a really high level before, so coming to England is obviously going to be very different. So what better English experience can you give them than sending them on loan to Stoke? So
well,
we're
actually going to single-handedly promote Stoke this season because we've given them
we've
now given them
always have been
Abdullah Sima as well. So yeah, they're on a time charge.
Up the
Potters.
Oh yeah, they're the Potters.
Maybe that's why we like him so much. Yeah,
very good. And then I suppose I'll give my quick overview on it. I suppose I thought it was very good. Like some really good signings in there. As you mentioned, Ben Cucurella I think was the key signing for me. And we talk about we're getting all these sort of young and exciting players because the average age of arrivals was 22 years of age, which is pretty mad. Like we're obviously building for the future, which is really good. I'm loving to see it. But I mentioned it on the live yesterday. It's like, do we get to a point now though where, let's say next season, when everyone returns, it's like who starts, who are we going to play? Because we're going to be having to give so many players a chance.
Oh my God.
Hopefully.
Before I get that meme where Chelsea loan out like 50 players and it's like Heathrow Airport when all the players. That's literally going to be us next season, isn't it? All of our loans returning. Jesus Christ,
we're no better than Chelsea were when they used to loan out 50 players a window.
I mean, it's a great thing to be in. Like, it's one of those positions where you want to be in, but it's one of those sort of horrible ones because we're going to have so much quality in the team, especially young quality coming through. But then it's like, how do we facilitate them all? Like, do we have to keep sending them out on loan? Is that when are we actually going to see them play? Because we talk about Abdullah Sima, for example. I get what you said, Ryan, and I completely agree with giving them first team experience elsewhere, lower leagues, for example. But at the same time, it's like, what about now? Like, what we're going to do right now? And I think both you mentioned that.
You'd quite like to see us take a punt and just go for it.
Yeah.
But then I thought about that and I thought, actually, hang on a minute. We did that with Andy Zakiri and it didn't really work. So, arguably Zakiri had a lot more professional experience under his belt than Sima does. But, I don't know. You'd quite like to just see us go for it and just think, do you know what? Throw him in it and see how he copes because... we haven't. I don't know what to say this, but we haven't got much to lose if we're comparing it to last year. Like, the amount of goals we scored versus how many goals we could have scored and should have scored. You'd like to see us just, think, just go for it, But I know it's obviously a lot deeper than that. You can't just do it like you're on Football Manager or on FIFA. But sometimes you would like to just see us take that little gamble and just think, do you know what? Let's not play by the rules a little bit and let's just push him out there. But, I can also see the reason as to why we haven't and why we've taken the safe route. And, I do get that too. Yeah. So, hopefully for Sima's sake as well, he does really well in Stoke.
When we were linked with Tino Livramento, we were talking about Chelsea's transfer policy. Like the way they have all these loan players, all these young players out on loan that are promising and they never actually break into the first team, but they make money off them. And we were saying that we're not at that level yet, but it looks like we are kind of doing that in like a mini operation type.
Yeah,
we could see Caicedo showing a lot of promise and then selling him like that. Chelsea sold that Guay guy that he's never played for him for 18 million. Like, you never know. Ostergaard might have a really, really another good season in the Championship, and then the promoted Championship team might want to actually sign him for some decent money because he might not think they can get a chance at Brighton. Like, we could be making decent money on these players that never actually play for us, but that's yet to be seen. But
No, I think we're definitely I think we're operating at basically like a same sort of philosophy, same structure as Chelsea, just obviously on a much lower sort of tier in that respect.
But we can't go and spend 70-80 million on a new striker like they can.
No, exactly.
They can go spend 90 million on Lukaku, whereas we still have to hope in some cases that some of them do come through and come into this first team as well, because they've not got the pressure of. If it goes wrong, we'll get relegated. Whereas we've got the pressure of if it does go wrong, there's the risk of going down. But whereas they can think, how worse we're going to finish 4th or 5th. Like what's going to happen? I will sack manager and just get another world class manager in. So
you say that, Brian. Going back to that point, Maz has got up a decent graphic here. So Chelsea, obviously, I think we all saw that they sold a lot of players this summer. So their net transfer spend was just 3.1 million. So like they sold so many players to afford Lukaku and that type, and all those players. And I don't know, Matt, you take over. This is your graphic.
I think you made the point really well there. It's like, Chelsea have sold. They might have spent a lot of money, but they've also brought a lot of money in as well. And then on the chart, and I don't know whether this is a positive, but it'll be interesting to get both of your points of view on this, like whether this is a positive thing or this is a negative thing. So we're actually second best behind Southampton in terms of positive net spend. So we actually minus 17.9 net spend. So we brought in 79 million more than we actually spent. Which is that a positive thing? Is that a good thing? Like, sorry, is that a negative thing? A good thing? What do you reckon? What do we reckon?
I mean, I think a lot of that was probably bolstered by the Ben White transfer to
of course.
Arsenal. But at the same time, it's not a bad thing. It goes to show that we're running a liquid rate. We're not, running ourselves down into the ground. We're a liquid company and a business, but at the same time, you'd like to see us take that punt sometimes, but sometimes it's not.
There might be. Do you reckon that's Bloom's first time we've actually done that after transfer window since Bloom took us over?
It'll be interesting to know. It'll be interesting to see that actually. Yeah,
we do get laughed at for having a horrendous net spend of buying other players
true.
and never actually selling him for anything.
And
now for the first time we actually have.
That's a really good point, because it's always the Palace fans that bring up, how much money Brighton spend and how they haven't, got out the best of these players. We spent 15 on Locadia, 17 on Jahanbakhsh, etc. But that was the old, that's the old Brighton. So as I was saying, I am good now. Yeah, since my mic decides to actually work, so we're going to do this while it still works. So what I was saying before I was rudely interrupted by my technical difficulties was the fact that the club is run so much differently to 2019, because Palace fans always bring up our net spend from before, when we used to spend a lot of money on XYZ, whereas now we do it a different way. The club's run so differently. We've got a different structure. That's why I always bring up 2019 as like the point where it's completely different. It's almost like it's a different club since 2019. So the last 2-3 years has been a completely different operate, as you can see by this net spend. It's been completely different operated. So whenever you see Palace fans bring it up and saying, Brighton spends so much money but they don't get anything out of it, it's not true. It's true based on Brighton of old, but it doesn't really matter anymore because it's not the same. And to be fair to Palace, they've done really well in the transfer window, and I can't take that away from them. They've signed Odsonne Edouard, they've signed Michael Elise, they've signed some fantastic players. So I'm not going to take anything away from them, but now the pressure is probably more on them, having spent that sort of money, because we've never done as much as they have, I believe, this much quality. I mean, they bought in some very, very good players, whereas we bought in some relatively unknowns. Jahanbakhsh was probably the highest quality player that we bought in at the time. So, they're bringing in some, proper Championship ballers, some good Premier League ballers. They're bringing in some very good players. So I'd say the pressure's more on them now than it was on us in 2017, 18, 19, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, definitely. It's really interesting. Like Ben, you said, it'd be interesting to compare from previous seasons on our net spend, because I think probably this is one of our only seasons that we probably have been in sort of such a positive.
In the Bloom era.
Yeah, in the Bloom era, like in the
last
green.
Year as well, didn't we? We only spend like a few mil, didn't we? Last summer. Do you remember? Because we only bought Lallana on a free, Welbeck on a free.
That's true. Actually, yeah, we didn't.
Veltman 900k.
Yeah.
So we barely spent anything again last year. So it's just a new philosophy.
The
new philosophy is don't spend big, and we've proven that.
No, definitely.
So one last point on it. If we stay up and have a good season, fingers crossed, people are going to use that and say, look, they've made their £17.9 million of profit. Well, it depends on what happens in January, and they finished 14th. That would be a good season.
Oh,
people would use that as a big factor.
Yeah. No, and that's actually a really good point, Ben. And I think we'll get on to it, because I just want to do the outs first, the transfers. But we can talk about. We can do like a season prediction, I suppose, at the end, because I've seen a couple of contradicting comments on especially on social media, where people are like basically talking about what is it, how do we quantify success at Brighton? Like, what is a successful season? So we can finish off the episode with that. But just quickly before we do that, let's talk about the outs as well. So we talked about the incomings. Yeah, we got a big old list.
This is a 2-hour special.
I'm going to try. I'm going to skim through it. I'm going to skim through it though. I'm going to skim through it. So obviously the big one was Ben White to Arsenal, 50 million. Percy Tau to Al Ali, Gyökeres to Coventry, which was on a permanent as well. So these are all permanent signings so far. David Propo on a free to PSV, Izquierdo to Club Brugge on a free, and then they don't have any numbers on these ones, but Malakar to Hajduk split, Bernardo to Salzburg, Matty Ryan to Sociedad, and Ali Reza Jahanbakhsh to Feyenoord. And then we get into the loan moves. There's quite a few here. So we got Jan.
When people have the scroll and they just drop it.
So you got Jan Paul van Heck to Blackburn, Christian Walton to Ipswich, Andy Shaqiri to Augsburg, Andone to Cadiz, Ostergaard to Stoke, Moises Caicedo to Beerschot in Belgium.
Yeah, Beerschot, great name.
Cairo Matoma to Union SG, which again, Belgium. Matt Clark to West Brom, and Abdullah Sima to Stoke. They're all loan moves. So a lot of outs. So just quickly, I'll just give my little quick thing on this. I think it's really good actually on the outs, to be honest with you. Like a lot of deadwood, a lot of players that probably wouldn't get much game time in terms of the permanent transfers. You look at, your Matty Ryans, your Bernardos, your Malacars, your Izquierdos, David Proper now. They're all, people that I think should be leaving at this point in our development as a club. And then the loan moves I think are really good. Like, some really, I don't think they have Cadra on here as well. Cadra's gone out on loan to Blackburn as well, hasn't he?
Oh, yeah.
They don't have him on there. So I just spotted that.
I'd have liked to see Cadra actually a little bit more. I thought he looked quite bright in pre-season. I thought this probably would be a year where we get to see him a bit. But
I like that. I like him going Blackburn though. That's a good move for him.
I think even Paul Van Heck as well to Blackburn. I think a lot of the loan moves I'm actually really happy with. I think it gives them, hopefully if they all start, they all play regularly. Quite decent levels. Your championships are very very competitive league. So yeah,
I do that I do it in Football Manager. I always I put out as many players as I can in the same team, and then just try and flood the championship. So I have 4 Brighton under 23s at Stoke, for example, just to build my little team there. Just to build up the round.
No, 100%. I think it's a really competitive league, isn't it? And you learn a lot as a professional. You learn a lot in the championship because it's so competitive. Anyone could beat anyone. It's very what's it called? Physical as well. So yeah, I think it's a great.
Good adaptation to.
Malumbi
as well.
They have missed out Malumbi as well. He was a permanent, wasn't
West Brom.
He's a loan to buy, isn't he? Loan to buy.
Loan to buy. That's it. Yeah. But yeah, I think on a whole, I think it's very positive. And also, just quickly, average age of departures is 24 years of age, which is higher than our incomings. So again, we're getting a couple of the older lads out as well.
All of the actual
sort of late 20s,
29s.
Yeah,
pretty much Chris Hughton's team's gone, hasn't it now? Really, apart from Dunkey.
And Duffy now.
Gross. Duffy's back in it. But yeah, pretty much Chris Hughton's squad is gone, hasn't it, really?
Yeah.
Romeo done.
And then what do you reckon then, boys? So, what's your thoughts on the outgoings? Ryan, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy with most of the loans. I think I was quite surprised, and I'm not just saying this because of the South Africans, but I'm genuinely quite surprised to see Percy Tau go. I thought probably I would have quite liked to see him compete again. I thought whenever he came on, he actually looked a bit of a handful. But yeah, I think overall all the loans look really good. I think Ben White, 50 million, you can't complain with that. We've already gone over that before, so we're always going to accept that. And I think overall, all the loans are beneficial. I think Sima to Stoke we've covered. Cadra to Blackburn. I think all of these loan moves are very good to the Championship. I like that a lot because we saw
shows the level of our under 23s. Really,
Leo Ostergaard too. Exactly, yeah. So I think it's very good. They're all very, very young as well. I think that average age you mentioned is probably brought down by the loans outgoing. So it's good to see us, filling up the Championship and proving that we have the quality. It's just I think people always have to say trust the process, but they don't actually fall in love with the process in itself. They just want to see the destination. So that's probably one of those things that people like to say. Yeah, Mikel Arteta being one of those. But I think. With Arsenal this year, in Mikel Arteta's sense, they've spent a lot of money, so the pressure's now on Arteta to make them perform. So,
definitely.
I think.
I suppose. Go on, Rob.
Go on.
I was just going to say actually. So, talking about that, Ryan, you bring up a good point. It's like if we had spent, let's say we had spent all of the Ben White money plus, let's say, I don't know, another 50 million on top. So let's say we spent 100 million or something. That pressure on us, that would have been a lot, right? Like we would have been expected to finish top half. Like that would have been a Garrett. You have to because you spent X amount of money. So is this maybe a bit of a free pass, so to speak, in terms of not spending that much this season and being like, well, okay, if we do finish mid-table, it's actually been really successful. Ben, what do you reckon?
No, 100%. No, definitely. It would have been, if we're looking at the profit of 17.9 million, you could argue that would have been maybe a fee we would have paid for Edouard or around that kind of money. So if we had got Edouard in, but it might be, it would be on zero and it would still be looking pretty good. But obviously the strikers that we are looking for are much higher calibre now.
Yeah.
Do you know what does annoy me actually with that? Because I think people like to say now that there's this false narrative going around that Tony Bloom's not backing Potter, he's not giving him the money, he's not allowing him to sign players he wants to. Can you get any more wrong? I mean, you obviously haven't been watching the transfer sagas over the past 2 months. You know, we've literally been going after player after player. We went after Nico Gonzalez, so much to the point where he was literally in Brighton to sign the deal, but chose to go to Fiorentina. That doesn't mean that, you know, he didn't invest in the money. We had spent the 25 million or whatever it was, but he just chose to go to Fiorentina, so that's just what it is. We went £35 million into Darwin Núñez, but, you know, for obvious reasons, he wants to stay at Benfica. And, you know, we had all these players, Alton Eduardo, apparently we were after, we weren't after, whatever.
Yeah, I don't think there was actually ever official bid there. That was just like loads of links, wasn't it?
But it was still, I think that was like the agent. Links. You know, we're still looking at these sort of players. You know, these players that we're mentioning, and there's probably a lot more that didn't even get coverage that we went into. You know, people to say that Bloom isn't back in Potter or something like along them lines, I think is absolutely ridiculous, because you clearly haven't been even taking anything in to make an assumption like that. I mean, it's just stupidity, to be honest.
And the positive now is Núñez is interested. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that the positive thing now is that he will be willing to leave. It's just agreeing that fee, and whether that happens in January, who knows? But I believe it does.
January transfer will be hard to buy him, I think. I mean, I don't know anything, but I just historically January transfer windows aren't fun to deal with. I mean, the price of Darwin Núñez is going to go up from 35 mil to probably 40, 45, and you know, you're looking
I suppose it depends on the next 6 months leading up to January, however long we got.
Yeah. Exactly.
Not 6 months, is it? But yeah.
And I think it's quite interesting actually looking at this net spend thing. I'm looking at Arsenal spending so much money, and you've also got like West Ham up there. You've got Leeds, you've got Brentford, you've got, you know, some lesser clubs. You know, clubs that you'd expect to be in and around sort of the mid-table spots. You know, they're spending a lot of money. Leeds, especially. I mean, I spoke to a Leeds fan, and he said, you know, we're not going to spend any money this summer. He said he reckons that Bielsa will just work with what he's got. Well, you're £43 million over your net spend, so
we literally spoke. I spoke about this, you know, with Josh, our good friend, our good Leeds friend, Josh Akers. Because basically this got sent into our sort of work group chat, and he's you know, consistently said, "Oh, Leeds aren't spending money and all that stuff." And I'm like, well, look at that. Yeah. If you look at that chart,
you have.
you have. Actually, I think you actually have actually. So it'll be interesting to see how these. And interestingly as well, just quickly on this one as well, on the total net transfer spend. If you look at the ones in the green, there's Watford, Norwich, Villa, us, and Southampton. Now you could argue they're all clubs that are probably going to be in and around the sort of bottom half mid-table. So it's quite interesting to see all the teams that are in the red and all the ones in the green that really, like, I think it does transpire to the league table a little bit. But, I mean, we'll see. It'll be interesting to see how the likes of, I don't know, Brentford, Leeds, Newcastle, those kind of teams do, considering they spent a little bit of money.
I'm quite impressed with I don't want to give them so much praise, but genuinely Palace, they're only 10 million over. I mean, that's quite impressive. Considering the players they've brought in, that's quite good. I can't lie. Like whenever I look at them at the moment, they keep impressing me, and it's really annoying because there's so much about them that seems to be. No, but they seem to be closing that. There's no gap in. I'm not talking about in the league table, but they're closing that gap in sense of modernised, football clubs, quality and depth. All that sort of thing. They're closing that gap really well. So it's one of those things.
On paper, it looks good. Selling all of those older players and then bringing a lot of youngsters in. I know Conor Gallagher's only on loan, but it still looks like a decent signing. Scored 2 goals. The fans
Palace away is going to be a tough game.
It will be, but it remains to be seen the results. We'll see. We'll see how they get on this season.
And also, boys, don't forget they got Patrick Vieira in charge. He's the biggest fraud ever.
Yeah, exactly. Vieira's tax.
Vieira's tax. We'll see. We'll see what happens, boys. Right. Okay. Nice one. So that's okay. Let's wrap up the transfer window segment then. Ben, kick us off, mate. Rate. I know we did it yesterday, but rate our transfer window out of 10 and your reasons why.
A 6. Yeah. I feel like it's just I'm still very disappointed. You know, like we were linked with Cucurella right at the beginning of the transfer window, and we signed him on deadline day. So it didn't feel like I said it on the live, and it didn't feel like a new signing. It felt like we'd done that already, especially with the whole release clause. Like it's not like you really have to negotiate. The player's keen. All you have to do is pay the fee. So it's not like we've got one over on the club at all. But I think that's a really good signing. Mwepu remains to be seen whether he will be good. Hopefully he will. 6 out of 10. 100% it would be 10 out of 10 if we had got our first team striker in.
Cool. I'll tell you what, I saw a funny one about that actually, about Cucurella. Someone said it's like senior Christmas presents in September. Because
That is great.
That is very
good.
Great.
You just got to act surprised on the day. It's just
that is very good. I'll go next in terms of the rating. So I'll give it a 6.5. Now again, same positives as you, Ben. Obviously, Cucurella coming in was really key, and we made some sort of shrewd signings with regards to some of the up and coming youth players. And I'm going to give I don't think we've mentioned this yet. Well, in this sort of way, but Bissouma staying. That to me is like a new signing. To be honest, that's like a new signing. So that gives the extra 0.5 score for keeping Bissouma, because a lot of clubs are interested, and I'm sure they're going to be interested in January and again in summer next summer. So if he signs a contract, I was saying this to my mate the other day, if he signs a contract for 4 years, whatever, and then leaves next season, thus giving us more money, I'm all for it. To be honest with you, if he signs a new contract, which means
the ideal thing, isn't it?
The transfer fees much more higher, then I'm all for it. To be honest, because he served us really well. He's always put his 100% in when he has played, and he's a quality player that should be playing Champions League football. Let's be.
Yeah, I do feel harsh. I only gave it a 6 because, to be honest, I didn't really take into consideration keeping hold of Biss.
6.5.
It's a massive dub. It is a massive dub.
Yeah, that is a big dub. Yeah, and then with regards to the outgoings as well, I'm really happy with clearing Deadwood, some of the players that just were never going to play, and just never going to get a chance, so we might as well just get rid of them, which we did. So yeah, do you know what? I'm going to give it a 7. A 7. That is my final score. I think it's been not all that bad, but of course frustrating that we didn't have a striker. Of course, that goes without saying. Ryan?
Yeah. I agree. I'll talk about Bissouma a bit because that is a big one, and if he does get that contract, I've seen in places that Bissouma's contract is going to have a release clause in it. Apparently, it was the club want to give him 50 million release clause or something along them lines. So I can see that. I can see that being a fair enough because realistically, you'd want to get more out of him, but as a bit of a gentleman's agreement, I can see that.
I think if you're selling Ben White 50 million, I think Bissouma's at least 70.
I think English tax and centre-back tax, I don't know.
Yeah, true.
I think as well, the point of it was, I think, because Bissouma served us really well. He's dedicated another year here. Didn't need to. He could have easily taken a step up to the Champions League. So I think it's fair to say, right, mate, you've served us well. We'll take a decent fee for you. We could have easily got more, but we'll take a decent fee for you to sign an extra deal. Keeps the fans happy, sort of thing. So I can see that.
One more season, 50 million, I'll be more than happy with that.
100%, 100%.
And we all want to see Bissouma do well. Like if at the end of the season, okay, maybe whatever we do in the season, if Bissouma goes and leaves, I'll still be happy for him, and I hope he does really well. I'm not going to be like Villa fans to Grealish, who are literally like wishing him to flop and be bad. I'll be like, Bissouma needs to go do well for the sake of his career. So taking in the Bissouma news, and also the fact that taking a bit more of a less reactionary state than I was yesterday, looking at it on a different perspective, it's frustrating we didn't get an attacker in. In my opinion, I think we probably needed one, but overall, I think the signings we did bring in and the signings that the players that we did let go of, I think. All of those considered, I'd probably give it a good 6.5. That number would be massively boosted though if we did bring in another forward. I mean, Sima is one of those, but I'd like to send someone in for this season. So for that reason, that's down a bit. But that's obviously in my opinion, not anyone else's. So I'd probably rather it have been a bit higher.
It's like the Abe Simpson meme, when he walks into the bar and to the restaurant and walks out again. It's like that with our strikers. Anytime we sign a striker, it's like we buy them and then they're going out on loan. Cheers, lads.
It was a bit of a
it's a bit of a kick in the teeth, but it is what it is. And hopefully, fingers crossed, the strikers that we have, like you said right at the beginning, Ben. Hopefully, Connolly sorts it out. Welbeck stays fit. And Mopé keeps firing, and you never know that could take us through to the season's end, and hopefully we're on a European tour, boys.
So, I was on European tour still happening. I was on mute when I was trying to say speaking of kicking the teeth. Like people was tweeting like saying there's going to be one more announcement at 11. There's one more announcement at 11:30. So when the 11 p.m. one came out, what was it? Might be getting this wrong. Caicedo first to be loaned out. Everyone was like, "Are you joking? Fucking blah blah." And then like one more announcement at 11:30. We were like, "Oh, what's happening here?" Dendoncker out. I was like, everyone was absolutely livid. Like so many people tweeted to be like,
I've seen I've seen the comments this morning on the, I think it was the youth team. They won a game and they're like unbeaten in so and so amount of games. And I must admit, when you look at those comments, it is a bit much now. Like, I understand the frustrations and I understand, you can slate what you want to slate. You can say we should have got this and should have got that. There's no problem with that. But when they start saying like, the admin needs to F off, like you don't take it out on the admin. Like, let's be honest,
the people that aren't involved.
They're putting in so much abuse. Like, and they're celebrating the fact that the youth team's just done a really good achievement. Like, let's focus on them for that. If we put something on saying, we've let go of another player, it'd be a bit of a, But I think starting commenting it on anything now is a bit much. I think it's getting a bit toxic.
I was going to say, ended on your tweet. Ended on your tweet, and then quick say what you're saying. What you tweeted, Ryan, was spot on. Like, the timeline on Brighton Twitter is going to be full of negativity, but the transfer window's done. Let's just get behind the team now, and then we can talk about transfers again in January. We've got to back the team now. Like, let's kind of bury our anger, get rid of the anger, and just start backing the team.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, Ryan, actually, because it's funny you mentioned it because it literally, that exact point happened yesterday. So we posted last night, the Cucurella, I don't know if you follow us on Instagram, but on the Seagulls Social Instagram, I posted so you see that's where the trouble began, and it's a picture of Cucurella, and then it's that damn smile meme, Hannah Baker from 13 Reasons Why. And some guy put, and the caption was, "The real shining light this transfer window." And then someone replied going, "Mwepu, Biss still here, Sima signing is still great news. Stop being unhappy and realise that this actually hasn't been the window from hell." And I was like, where did we say it was a window from hell? The caption simply says that he's staying, which is the highlight of the window for us anyway. And then he was like, oh, fair enough. And then some guy goes, well, then why are you getting mad at the people? Why are you dragging Seagulls Social into it? And why are you getting mad at them? Like, and it's so true.
It's
like,
a bit toxic.
Why are you
so
taking out on us?
Bitey at the moment. Yeah. Everyone's very
funny
bitey. And I said it, as Ben said, I'll read a tweet because I've got it just up here. And I said, Brighton Twitter will be very toxic now. And whether reactions are justified or not is another conversation. And what's important now is that we get behind the lads that we do have and go from there. Don't get me wrong, I'm not acting innocent either, but it's time to simply move on. And I think that's true because I think whatever's happened, right? We can't change the past. I agree, it's very frustrating, in my opinion anyway. But we just got to move on. We've just got to back what we've got. We haven't got much of a choice now, right? Until January, that's our squad. We've got to back the boys, as always. We always back the boys on here anyway.
Exactly.
So we just got to get behind them now.
I think 95% of the time on this podcast, I think we're pretty positive and we pretty much
definitely
all the boards. And of course we do get frustrated. There's that 5% of the time where we do get frustrated and we do voice that.
But
I think we usually throughout the season, for example, like let's talk about the Mope thing, for example. Like throughout the whole last season, I know for a fact we had a couple of moments where we did slate him, but on the whole, we always backed him. And I think that's what we need to do as a club. Yeah, exactly. So
we dragged him through the trenches. He was missing open goals, and we were still backing the boys.
I know.
I can't believe it.
Exactly. But lads, look, it's been a great pod. We've really got into the depths of the transfer window, and of course we reviewed the Everton game. We talked about Brentford, of course. Make sure that you do. Oh, and actually, before we go, what we're going to have in the comments below, boys.
Good question.
Back the boys.
Look at that, Ben! Right at the same time.
Hashtag back the boys. Back the boys. If you're watching on YouTube, put it down in the comments if you made it this far. That'd be great. And of course, as per usual, we really do appreciate it. Please do like, comment, and subscribe. It does mean a lot to us, and we do appreciate it. And of course, keep streaming on all Apple and Spotify, all those platforms. Just keep streaming it up, keep watching, and it does really mean a lot to us. All the support and all the views. And we shall see you.
And also,
we're going to
the
FCAs,
baby.
BHA,
who sent us these, and they're in my.
I didn't get sent that.
No, I know, it's because I put down my address. He couldn't send it to all three, but pick up your pins, your gross pins and stickers. I stuck my one in a bar in London Road. So
can I
go to the new Unity, look in the toilet downstairs. No, should be there hopefully still.
Yeah, and also as well, actually, bloody hell, we have not even mentioned it. We didn't even mention the FCAs. So we actually, we got nominated.
We're going to the FCAs, baby,
for the best, for one of the finalists of the best Premier League podcast. On the football
in the
content
world,
awards. In the world.
That's down to you guys that all voted for us. That was unbelievable.
Love
we dominated
you all.
those comments.
Yeah, the comments.
Quality.
You absolutely smashed the comment section. And if you can carry on doing the same, that would be amazing. If also as well, please vote on the website as well. So the Football Content Awards website, if you can go on there and actually vote for Seagulls Social, again, it really means a lot.
We'll leave a link in the description.
Yeah, leave a link
also
in the description.
Like the pin comment as well.
So please do.
TSR is the best small company too, please.
TSR as well. We'll get that plug in as well, of course.
Vote for both of us. Yeah. We'll get there.
Yeah, vote for Seagulls Social.
We're going to win something. We're coming home. We're coming home from the FCA's, boys, and we're coming home with a trophy. Whether it's third place, second place, or first place, we're going to do it. We're going to go for a title charge. We're coming home.
We're going for a title charge.
Bring back the silverware for the Albion, that's for sure.
They better serve Moretti there, by the way. Better serve Moretti.
I think they're giving us half a bottle of wine, Ben, because we're on the same table, me and Ben.
Half a bottle.
They're giving us half a bottle. I don't like wine, so I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to have to drink it.
Oh, I'll have it. I'll be fine with that.
We'll see. Have the
all right, boys.
Yourself.
It's been an absolute pleasure, as always, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.